So, I am very happy to say that I am being joined by Craig Davis as we look ahead to this weekend's FA Trophy tie against Poole Town, and also on the back of what has been a very exciting week for the club. David, first of all, good to speak to you. It's been obviously a week since we caught up after Merthyr. We've had a couple of training sessions as well since then. How's everything going?
Yeah, good. Obviously, I was disappointed after the Merthyr game. It was a tough night, really, a tough day, the journey and all of the the things that go along with that. Yeah. Spoke to the boys afterwards, and they've had to do a bit of soul searching and thinking about what went wrong and what they could have done differently. Give them a session off, so they could sort of get themselves back, refreshed really mentally as much as anything. And then they've been posting how much gym runs that they've been doing and things like that, little tiny things just to show that how much they're really wanting to get themselves into tip-top shape, ready for the next sort of passage of or period of the season, which is going to be integral really for us, hopefully pushing ourselves up the league. But we then trained really well, and I've been obviously busy in the transfer market as well.
That's right, yeah. So Monday was quite an eventful day for the club, where we were able to announce not one but two, I suppose I'd say new signings. But returning faces to the club that we're delighted to have back. So first of all, we were able to get the signing of Ollie Griggs over the line from Dorchester. How did that one come about?
Yeah, I mean, Griggsy's, we joke about it. It's like a son to me, and I guess it's a second dad. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those relationships where we've been close for a long time. He's gone through quite a lot, sort of off the pitch with injuries and stuff like that over the last few years, and I've always been really close with him. Obviously, I was gutted that he left. I understood his reasons why he left. Circumstances of his friends that he drove with every day to us, going elsewhere, and you could tell he was reluctant almost to go, but he went to another club which was closer to him, and good luck to him. I just certainly didn't fall out with him, so stayed in contact with him throughout, like I do all of my players that leave, or most of them, and just heard that he wasn't playing. Wind of stuff like lads that he spoke to, sort of his ex-teammates that say, "Oh, sure, Griggsy's not playing," and things like that. So you keep your eyes peeled on it. Yeah. He was doing really well, and then he lost his place in the team for a suspension, which is comes as a surprise, because he seemed to be sort of falling out of favour a little bit. So reached out to Housey, who I get on well with and got a lot of respect for, and just said, look, what's the situation with him? I'd really like to take him back. And he wasn't sort of. He didn't really want him to go or anything, but equally didn't want to stand in his way.
Yeah.
Sort of style that they're playing with didn't necessarily suit what he does, and we know that the way he plays suits us. So these things happen. So he become available, and I thank Dorchester for the speed with which they allowed us to do that, and spoke to Griggsy at length, told him what I want from him, what we're lacking within the group, and it was an absolute no-brainer, and I'm absolutely delighted to have him back.
Well, he's a fan's favourite, so I know, and you could tell the reaction as well on social media once the signing was announced, how excited everybody is to have him back at the club. Likewise, same day, in fact, we managed to bring in some reinforcements at the back with the signing of Callum Chugg, who has come back to the club from Hythe and Dibden. So likewise, same again, really. How did sort of Chuggy coming back? How did that one come about?
Well, we've been keen to bolster our defensive line for a while. Obviously, we've got Dan Welster back, which has added a bit of competition in there.
Yeah.
And then, I noticed that he'd been playing sort of full Hythe, and again, I think one or two of the boys have spoke to him, how's he getting on and stuff like that. And he wasn't saying anything that he wanted to necessarily leave Hythe or anything like that. But I just had the feeling that if I spoke to him, I could convince him that coming back was a good idea. So we put 7 days in for him, and then spoke to him after that time had elapsed, and I think he was a bit surprised in a way that I'd come in for him, but equally, we got on like a house on fire. It was only a short period of time, but it was like he'd been with me for seasons. Do you know what I mean? He just gets it. He gets what I want, and I get him. He's probably a little bit of a misunderstood lad at times, I think, because he's a like an acquired taste sort of thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't suffer fools gladly, and he'll say if he's not happy with something and that sort of stuff. But honestly, what a lad! And the impact he had last year, I'd 100% say he was the best bit of business I've done in many years.
Yeah.
To be honest, get him in late in the season, as late as I did. I would say he was as important as anyone in getting us promoted last year. So obviously to lose him was disappointing. It was, as I've mentioned before, it was mainly down to circumstances with regards to his work, and being close to his work in Hythe, and obviously that's suited him well. But he's got sort of other things going on now, and him being actually based in Winchester kind of played into our hands again, and we were able to convince him. Like I say, not that he needed convincing, and again, not that he was unhappy at Hythe, but he's got fond memories of the club, and as I said, we get on great. So I'm really pleased to get him in. Add massive competition now in the back line, which we've needed, and this week has been exciting. Lads are. The competition for places is massive, absolutely massive, and obviously there are going to be people that are going to be left out of the squad, unfortunately, that aren't always going to be happy with things. But you need a squad. You've got to rotate things around. You've got to move things around. You've got to have people, pushing you to play at the best levels you possibly can. Similarly, we've got IK coming back to full fitness training. We had Albanian training this week. So, those two are probably not far away, and all of a sudden, we're looking pretty good, and everyone's excited. The buzz at training this week has been first class. So we're looking forward to it, and I'm absolutely buzzing to have the two of them back. I'm grateful for them coming back, and it certainly feels bit of nostalgia from the feeling that it ebbs away. When you're not winning games, you sort of think, you forget that good feeling that we had, and those two just coming in, just brightening the place up. All of a sudden, it's a major lift. So that's good.
Sure, no, I totally agree, and also obviously, like you said before, with Dan Walster coming back as well, you really get the feeling that while the summer saw kind of wholesale changes, you sort of reintegrate those three into the squad, and IK coming back, and you're suddenly looking at it going, you've got a lot of the old guys back together again. It was so successful. Yeah,
absolutely. And I said on the interview when we announced the lads that were going, that they were all got on good terms, and I was in no way surprised that we would get a few back. I told some of the supporters we'll probably see a couple of them at least back. And so it's proven. So it's good, and we've got a baptism of fire this week for the first game, which we'll talk about in a minute. But just to have that additional character in the squad is something that I'm absolutely over the moon with.
For sure. So, as you say, we're back in action again this weekend, back at the Charters Community Stadium, and we welcome for the second time this season Poole Town. This time it's in the FA Trophy. So as we look ahead to that one, obviously we've met them in the league first game of the season, where obviously it was still very early days. So obviously a couple of months down the line now, how are you feeling as we look ahead to this test on Saturday?
Excited. It's a good game. It's a tough draw, isn't it? Going to play them home then away. They had a good result against us first game of the season. I didn't think we got going really. I didn't think we played particularly badly, but we didn't really lay a glove on them, to be honest, and we didn't get amongst them, and we froze a little bit on the day, I think. So we're hoping that we can acquit ourselves a little bit better this time. Obviously, they've improved since then. Obviously, with Tony Lee coming back now, good player, very, very good player, and I'm not going to lie, I'm gutted that he's back there for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we would have appreciated not having not having to deal with him for the game, but such is life.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, they've got some excellent players, and we will we'll have a work cut out. But having said that, it's a cracking game to just get ourselves going again, and then obviously it's important money for the club if we can get through. But I'm more interested, if I'm honest, in the league and getting ourselves back going in that. It's been so stop-start, and teams playing all around us and stuff like that, and we've managed to sort of stay just outside the relegation zone at the moment, and we've got games in hand. I want to get back and get playing and get some rhythm going in that, and I really look forward to that. But first and foremost, let's have a good go Saturday. I'm sure it'll be a reasonable crowd, and see if we can upset the apple cart, because they're on fire at the moment, and they were under a bit of pressure for a while, and they've dug out a few really good results, and let's see if we can go and give it a good go Saturday.
Sure. I know a question that will potentially be on the lips of some supporters, obviously with a couple of new faces coming into the club. Is there any of Ryan's in the fire, or do you think some lads might move on to get some minutes, or are you sort of happy with the squad that you've got?
Always looking. We've never been a revolving door club, have we? But we had to be a bit this summer.
Yeah.
We've brought one or two in since then, which has been good. It's inevitable that some will move on at some point, whether they move on because they're not getting game time, or we feel that maybe a little dual registration situation would be good. We've got a few good clubs that are doing that at the moment. We've got Geordie out doing that at Blackfield, doing really well, and I firmly believe that it's a great move for us to do that for some players, especially some of the younger players, and keeping them with us, but getting some game time, which we can do with Wessex League clubs and stuff like that. So we will look to that. Hopefully we'll be able to support something like that over the coming weeks. But we want to retain as much as players as we can. But as I said, the competition for places is fierce.
Sure. Well, I suppose lastly, it's a case of obviously we're looking ahead to the weekend and the Poole Town game. Hopefully we'll get a nice big crowd. Have you got a message for the supporters looking ahead to this weekend?
Yeah, just support, just like you do, and shout us on as best as you can. I know it must be hard for them because they've been used to, and I know they're not. They're not thick. They're not naive. They know that we've stepped up a league, and I think we've given them. Spoiled them's probably the wrong word, but we've given them enough football over the last 4 or 5 years of win after win, 4 or 5 goals galore, all of that sort of stuff. And this is just a different feel, isn't it? We're having to scrap away and not always have all of the ball that we're used to and stuff like that. So it's a different mentality for our supporters to do, and we need them more now than we've ever needed them. So hopefully they're enjoying the challenge just as much as we are. I like to think we're going to give a bit more to shout about. We're going to need to be a bit more on the front foot and a little bit more on the edge, really, which we've always been what we've been good at. And we need them to lift us as much as we can. And I know it's difficult with the one end of the goal of the pitch not in use because of the situation in the playoffs, and that probably maybe just feels a little bit different at home. But we need to start getting going at home. We really do need to, and the supporters will be important for that. We'll hopefully give them a bit more to shout about, and and I'm confident that, you know, with lads that we've got returning to fitness from injury, and two new additions plus Walster coming back, you know, they'll feel that DNA of the sort of Winch side of the last few years again, and hopefully we can have some good times again.
Well, it certainly feels that way, and the buzz around the club this week has been lovely, and it all really feels like it's coming together quite nicely. So fingers crossed, we will be celebrating